Hi everyone, I welcome you all to our tech podcast series. And today I'm Chavi, your podcaster of the day. And now we are yet again back with our entrepreneurs, right? We are always excited to have entrepreneurs in our podcast. And today we are again back with an amazing person whose name is Praveen, who is currently the MD and CEO at Solution Technologies. With that note, I welcome you, Praveen, to our today's podcast.
Thank you, Chavi, and thank you for having me on the show.
First of all, whenever it comes to podcasts, whenever it comes to entrepreneurs, what I really love to know your journey, how you actually started, and especially would love to know some insights of the company as well from your side.
Yeah, so I started this journey pretty early in my career. I just did about 4 to 5 years of work, out of which 2 were on the technology side and 2 was on the business side. Now, while I was working on the business side, I kind of realized that there was very less to do on the business side because my work primarily involved coordinating with other technology companies. And from there, it was just the start of mobiles. This was like 2004. And there were very few games on the mobile phone. And, once I'd exhausted those games, I started trying to build those games during my free time. And that's why the name Celusion Technologies. So, basic games like Sudoku that came up during that time. So we started building games around that space. And that's where the idea of, forming a company, there was no app store at that time. The only way you could really sell applications, mobile applications, was through the telecom operators. And after 2 years of business, now since I had a little bit of exposure on the tech side as well as on the business side, we thought might as well start a company that makes these games and approach the operators. So we initially started work with companies like Qualcomm, Tata Telecommunications in this space. But having said that, the journey was not easy as it was now, as it is now. If you make a game, you've got a very structured app store where you can do your selling. Whereas at that time, it was more, working with every operator, working with every circle of the operator, depending on your relationship with the operator. That's how your apps would sell. So then we kind of, changed our course a little bit and got more into enterprise applications because that was, selling direct to customers, not via a telecommunication company. Yeah, so that's how we started off. And, as of today, we service a lot of BFSI. That's the vertical we work in, banks and financial services. So we work with a lot of the stock brokers, NBFC companies in the space of loans, and then banks and insurance companies. That's a very short journey of how we started and where we are now.
That's actually great to hear that, and also, like I agree, these games and these things are something which excites the most. So, with that note, would love to know, like, how technology is helping you in building your company. Like, because it's been a long time that you have been building, so you know that how technology has transformed in over these years. So, would love to know your views on the tech with the startup.
Okay, and that's an interesting question because what we believe is that only people who have a passion for technology should be really a part of our company, not others. And from the sixth grade, I have been programming. I mean, either for my school or for my friends in terms of a website. So technology is something that has been a part and parcel of me, and even today, yeah, with my role of MD and CEO, I would still say I'm a part-time programmer. So there are nights where I sit and program. It's either learning new technologies or building architectures that will kind of help the company go forward. So why I say the technology is very important is one reason that we've been able to grow continuously in this very competitive landscape here is we've been able to upgrade our tech. As the technology is changing, we've built certain architectures, or we also invest in the new technologies. So most companies, let's say if they've got a product, they find it very difficult to remove the technical debt. Something that's you've built over 6 years, it might be millions of lines of code. Now changing it to a new technology is a very expensive affair. But at our place, we believe that you got to leverage the new technology because those same million lines of code will now become thousands of lines of code as you adopt new technology. And we've been able to do that and be at the forefront, and that's where our customers like us, because it's not that we work on technologies that are old. We keep upgrading ourselves. And also internally, in terms of use of technology, we kind of uh, update our processes. So when DevOps was there, we didn't have people really deploying to the servers. We ensured that we were early adopters of the DevOps, so that the coders or the programmers get more time to do what they like to do. So they don't like deployments, they don't like setting up configurations and finding the bugs, and that all of this can be automated. Today in the financial industry, security is very important. So we've migrated to DevSecOps. So which means the moment a programmer commits his code or completes his work, at that same time, there would be tests that are run, static SAST tests or DAST tests that run automatically, and only if the quality surpasses a certain level, then it can be published to customers. So I would say tech has always been, but it's not that we jump and always leverage the latest technology. We do spend a lot of years. Example, AI. Okay, so we've got a team of about 3 people sitting on AI, doing the use cases, and only when after 2 years were we able to put our first real use case. So we don't just go with the market trend. We see whether it's actually bringing value to the table for our customers, and only those use cases we really put in. So yeah, I'd say technology has been very, very important for us.
That's so true, and also I really love the way you explained it in a very nice manner. And yeah, DevOps and security are two of the most important things that have been a great help for the companies right now. So, would love to know some things from you in terms of security, because right now people are being very much like I would say like they just don't know how secure their platform should be, how to keep up with the security part. So again, in over these years, according to you, how security has been a good part, and also is it something that you are worried of? Like, is your data secure? Is everything secure that is done by your end for the company?
Well, that's a police and thief game, right? The security part of it. While we try to secure it all the time, uh, the hackers out there will always find a loophole around it, and then we will again find ways to plug that in. So the only way to really do that well is have that as part of your development process. And also the companies today, the customers today, understand the importance of it. Either they've understood the importance because of an incident that has happened at their place, or it's also the regulators who have enforced this today. So it's very interesting. The Indian government has been very, very proactive in that sense. So I know for sure that RBI has a team of testers who would just download apps from the Play Store, banking apps from the Play Store, and do their own vulnerability tests on it, and then submit the report to the bank and say you've got 30 days to resolve this. Right, so that's how proactive the governance itself is at the government level. And then it reaches, a report like that reaches us very quickly, and because it's come from RBI, obviously you've got to kind of resolve it in 4 or 5 days. So the answer to probably solving this is always make it part of your process. Examples that I gave, there are enough libraries and tools out there that can help you while you're coding. If you try to do it at the end of the delivery, which has been the practice always, right? You complete your entire coding, and then you get in something called security testing or VAPT testing. If you take that approach, it's going to be a little too late in the cycle, a little too expensive to do that. So you might as well have those practices from day one. You have enough tools to do static analysis, dynamic analysis, as and when you're writing the code itself. You use that, and you should at least be able to tick off most of the standard vulnerabilities that are there. So in the last 1 year, we've seen every single customer of ours do a security audit with us, and kind of getting the big four to audit us. It depends on what kind of partner you are with them. So if they identify you as a critical partner, then there is a security audit that happens every year, even for us, as rigorous as it happens for themselves. So I mean, that's the best we can do. We can always just prepare for the situation and see to it that at least your entry level, mid level hackers can't get access to your system. There might be somebody out there who can, who's really capable of doing so. And then, as and when these incidents come up or when we learn about it, we try and plug the holes.
Exactly. And also, moving with that, there's one question that comes right now is we talked about technology. In the current time, the present time, youth is jumping from one startup to another startup. They hardly give 1 or 2 year to a particular startup, and then they are like, okay, let's now move on to some other startup or some other company to make it grow. But according to your experience, because it's actually been more than 15 years that you have been building up this company, and it's obviously very much precious to you. So like, would love to know some like pointers from your side in this note, that working in a startup for a long time versus working in a startup for a very short time, building in and then just leaving it.
So I'd say that kind of depends on independent personality, because a lot of the learning really is done by yourself, right? So whether I'm in startup A, whether I'm in startup B, it depends on how interested I'm in programming, and whether I'm contributing to open source, whether I'm learning from open source, during my free time. That I think is actually shaping your own career. Yes, there are opportunities when you work under, let's say, established startups, or you've got really, famous founders there who have a certain way of building architecture, who've done it before. So there is a learning that you get from there. I think 2 years is sufficient to get that kind of learning from there. Uh, but yes, if you want to grow up the career path, in terms of deep knowledge, because it's not just the technology, right? It's also about the business, right? And that's what we've learned as a company. We kept harping about technology, but our real success started coming when we started understanding the business, right? So when we started getting bankers into our company to identify the real problems that these companies have, and to speak the language that a banker speaks, right? And that is what really changed things for us. Before that, it was more like, technology is just supposed to work. But something which is very simple to do in technology might look like a very big thing to do in business, right? And it might just bring about a huge difference there. So that is where I think your years of experience, either with a certain sector or a company, really comes in useful. Because if you're going to switch between startups, one that does health, another that does security, another that does finance, you're not even going to be jack of all, right? You're going to be below jack of all, because it will take you time to learn all of that. And it's continuously evolving, right? When I talk about finance, the amount of innovation that's happening in the fintech space. If you talk about health, there's the health tech today, and the whole the government itself taking initiatives, like the National Health Mission. So it's not that you could learn it in 5 years and then say that I know it all. It's changing every year. The dynamics is moving very, very fast. So that's where I think staying with a company definitely helps, and rising up that career ladder for you. But as far as learning of technology is concerned, I believe, that's how I've learned. That's how I've seen most of my best people learn. They're learning it on their own. There's only so much that a company can teach you, but it's your interest in it that takes you further up.
Okay, that was actually very much insightful. And also, as you talked about like small challenges, so can you please elaborate what were the challenges that you have faced? As you mentioned that one small challenge was bankers. So, would be great if you could explain it. And I am pretty much sure the viewers will obviously would love to know that what are the challenges that are being faced, especially after like 15 years as well. There would be a lot of things that you might be facing till now,
Yeah.
challenges. So would love to know that.
So I would say sustainable growth is one of the key things, right? It's easy to there are sayings about it's easy to get to the top, but it's more difficult to be at the top, right? So that's what I mean by sustainable growth. Every benchmark, every target that you set for yourself, you need to ensure that you don't go below that after achieving the target, and then keep growing. And as you're transitioning from a startup to a more established company, you'll have to have more stronger processes around it. So For an example, if 10 years back I had to hire talent, right? It's not as simple as go hire a talent from Infosys, hire somebody from a TCS and get them to work in your premises, okay? Because that just doesn't work. Somebody who works at TCS has a smaller, very narrow approach to the kind of work they do, because they have a larger team, they have a larger support team. So that environment is very conducive to them. Whereas here, it's not the same scenario. Yeah. So that's one of the challenges we faced. A second one could be uh, depending on how you're running your company. So we've been a bootstrap company. We do not understand the investment game at all. So you need to kind of align consultants, align the right people, or work with the right people to ensure that when you're switching a certain mode of operations, you know what you're getting into. Yeah, so these are some of the challenges and the learnings that we keep doing on a daily basis.
That was really great, and I'm pretty much sure that these insights would be very much helpful to the viewers. And last but not the least, would love to know any future plans that you would love to share with us for the company.
Sure. So we started off, doing bespoke development. That's how, we spent our initial decade, right? Like I said, we were a technology company. We were not aware of a business problem that could really be productized. But over the last 4 or 5 years working with the BFSI, we've been able to identify real pain points and, use technology as an enabler to solve those problems. Uh, in the last 1 year, we've started productizing it to a level where we want our customers' go-to-market to be really, really short. And that's what we're focusing on right now. So most of them are going to be products ready off the shelf. We want our customers not to be dependent on us from the technology perspective. We've given you a product, you can configure it, you can take it forward from there. And obviously, we are there to support you and help you in that journey. But a lot of times what happens is customers suffer because they're working with a partner and the dependency becomes too high with them, right? The tool is not self-sufficient. So we are moving more the product route now. And it's this quarter itself, in preparation for the upcoming year, that we're launching a few products in this space. And so far we've been receiving very good responses from the market on this one.
That was really great, and I really hoping to see like great things uh, there. And with that note, thank you so much, Praveen, for joining in today. It was really fabulous to have you in our today's podcast. And I have also like put all the socials of Praveen in the description below. You can reach out to him, have a conversation with him. He would obviously be very happy to help you in any of your query and startup thing.
Sure. Thank you very much, Ravi, for having me on the show. And yes, I'd be more than happy to connect with people. It's a learning for me to, connecting with people every day.
Exactly. Thank you so much. With that note, see you again with our like next podcast. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you.